everyone and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be doing a small Q&A for hitting 1,000 subscribers. So about 1 month ago, I finally hit the 1K milestone. I sort of gave myself like a goal to hit the 1K milestone by the end of this year, but it happened early. So first of all, I want to just say thank you to all of you who have been supporting me, who have been liking, watching, commenting, and for those of you who subscribed. It really means a lot to me to see your comments, to get your messages on Instagram. So I just want to say a huge thank you to all of you. So this video, we're going to be doing something very simple. I asked you guys some questions on my Instagram and I'm just going to be replying to them. So let's start with something fun. So the first question is, where do you see yourself living, in which city, in the next 5 years? So I haven't really thought about like which city I would want to live or anything like that. But I did go to Dubai recently and I made a vlog about that, so feel free to check that out. And I really liked that experience. Even if I was there for a really short time, I had like a positive experience throughout my stay. And I also have friends and a few like far family friends who are currently working there and seem to really enjoy it. And so I think like it would be a nice place to work, especially like when you're young. I think Dubai really has that like energy that keeps moving you forward. Everyone is very career focused. So yeah, maybe Dubai. Second question is, if you have the opportunity to try something new, what would it be and why? So, this is interesting. I thought of going into real estate like further down the line because like I've always loved interior design. I've always loved architecture, and I'm a pretty expressive person, so I think that might come off well when I'm trying to sell someone a house. So I just thought of it like that. Might give real estate a try. The next question is, what did you do when life was becoming harder in terms of studies, being far away from Malaysia, money? Okay, so we're going to get on to the serious stuff now. Honestly, throughout my entire engineering course, throughout the entire 6 years that I've been in France, things have been very difficult at some point. Like, I depended a lot on my family and my friends. When things were not going great, I would call my uncle, my parents, my grandparents, and I wouldn't necessarily have to tell them like what's going on. But just hearing from home and remembering, like reminding myself that I'm loved and I have my family, it really helps to keep me going. I also call my friends a lot. Also, shout out to my best friends. You guys have been there to me through all my difficulties, so I really appreciate it. But when I do have like difficult times, I talk about it. I talk about it to people. I talk about it to people who I think might help me, who could give me advice. And I try to follow those advices and it ends up working well. What I would say today is, if I find myself in a difficult situation, after going through a lot in this past 6 years, I always tell myself like, you can do it. You have gone through it. You've always come up with a solution. Everything's going to be okay. So that's what I try to keep telling myself. It's not easy, but I think it takes time and practice as well. The next question is, what device do you use to film? Okay, so I would show you right now, but I'm using it to film. I actually use my iPhone 12 Pro. I bought it 2 years ago, and the reason why I bought it, well, I was using an iPhone 6s Max back then to record my videos, and because I wanted to make like better YouTube videos, I decided to invest in an iPhone 12 Pro. So basically all my videos that you see are filmed on that device and I edited on my iPad using Video Leap. The next question is, did you ever think of giving up during your engineering studies? Okay, where do we begin? So engineering was a very hard course. But I think there were 2 moments in my life where it felt particularly difficult. The first one was in my first year in France when I was doing the preparatory program with the other Malaysians. Like, maths as a subject is so different in France. It's taught in a different way. You are tested in a different way. Like, I was used to being good in maths in Malaysia, and when I came here, I was bad. And it was very scary and depressing at that point because I was failing like 2 maths exams in a row, and I was really scared that I was going to get kicked out of my program basically. I cried a lot. I cried a lot. I depended on my friends. I felt kind of embarrassed for getting bad marks. I talked to my teachers and I told them I'm doing my best. I'm trying really hard. I want to do better. Can you tell me how I could perform better in the next exams? So that was one thing that helped, and another thing that helped was also talking about it to my mom. To be honest, she knew how stressful it was, and my mom has always been very hard on me in terms of academics. Like, but I've always figured it out. Like I always made it happen, made it work in Malaysia. So I think like her hearing that I was struggling with my academics, she comforted me, she reassured me, and I think knowing that my mom believed in me gave me the courage and the motivation to continue going. The second time that I felt like giving up was during my first semester in engineering school. Well, I didn't really feel like giving up. I just felt really pressured because when you come from like a technical degree and EUT, people tell you that engineering school is extremely difficult. So they kind of paint it to you as a nightmare. And so when I got them during my first semester, I entered UTC, which was my dream university, and I didn't ever think that I would get accepted to that university. So I was struggling a lot with imposter syndrome, and basically I told myself I have to prove it to myself that I deserve a place here, and to do that I need to pass all of my subjects. So that was like the goal that I set myself that semester. So we went through midterms and I got the results for my maths exam, which is the paper that like everyone fears coming from an EUT, and I got a 6. And I was like, oh my god, how am I going to get through this university? How am I going to get through this first semester? So I got the 6. I cried to my roommate Joy, and after crying I was like, okay, let's do better, let's work harder, let's be more focused. And I made it. So keep going and never give up. That's the advice that I would give. So the next question is, how did you feel when you finally succeeded? I'm guessing you meant when I finally finished my engineering degree. So when I finally finished in July, so I just finished my degree, I got my master's in July, it felt satisfying, and it also felt like it's about time. Like, it's been 6 years, I'm finally done. But I think the moment where I felt the most like satisfied was when I passed my second year in engineering school, so my 4th year in the whole degree. It was a semester where I had the hardest subjects, the heaviest schedule, and that was the semester where if I passed everything, my last final semester would be a lot easier, and if I didn't, I would have to like rattraper. I would have to make up for it in my next semester. So after passing that semester, especially after passing fluid mechanics and mechanics, I was like, oh my god, I did it. And it was very satisfying. I was very happy. I felt free because I think like going through a semester in UTC, you go in like rhythms. You start off easy and then it gets hard, and you don't really realize how hard it gets till you're done with it. So getting the results is like a like, it's over, I did it. So that's how I felt. The next question is, what was your biggest nightmare in university? I think my biggest nightmare was like getting really bad marks during the midterms, because then you know that you have to make up for it in your finals, and if you don't, you will fail. So that was, I would say, the hardest part of engineering at school for me. Also, I think my biggest nightmare is by far the 8 a.m. fluid mechanics lecture in Benjamin Franklin. Why would anyone do that to you? So the next question is, tu fais comment pour manager ton temps et tenir ce lifestyle parisien? Which means, how do you manage your time and keep up with the Parisian lifestyle? Okay. So for those of you who know me, you know that I have a very strict agenda and that I follow it, and I make appointments in advance. And I always tell my friends, like, if you wanna hang out, great, sure, no problem, but let me know like at least 1 week in advance so that I can jot it down in my agenda. I'm sure that I have nothing on and I can like anticipate our hangout. I'm definitely one of those people who like live with my calendar and my whole life depends on it. So that's how I manage my time. How do I manage the Parisian lifestyle? I think like at this point in my life, I'm more focused on my career, my personal projects, and my relationship with people. So I'm not really out and about as I used to be in Paris 2 years ago. It's more moderate, so I guess that helps. But definitely a calendar girly, and I recommend using your calendar. It's on your phone. You have everything there, so you have no excuse to like forget an appointment or like overbook yourself. The next question is, so this is the second last question. Tell us about your personality and future thoughts. I would say that I'm someone who's very friendly. I love meeting new people. I love talking, and especially people who are like completely different and doing different things. I find it very refreshing, and I think I'm more like towards the extroverted end of the scale. So meeting people is like my thing. I would also say that I am someone who is very like I try to reflect on myself a lot. I think that I always have room for improvement and that I can always be a better version of myself. So yes, I can be stubborn at times, especially like when I feel very strongly about a subject. But I try to put myself in that direction where I always want to be better. I want to learn more from other people and just want to keep moving forward. And besides that, my personality, I'd say like I'm pretty chill, you know? Yeah, I'm a pretty chill person. Depends on how chill you are, because like if you're very chill, then like I'm very dramatic in comparison. But in my opinion, I think I'm pretty chill in the sense that when it comes to friends, especially, we don't need to talk every day. We don't need to talk like every week or so. My best friends, I see them once, twice a year if I'm lucky, and we talk every now and then, just to make sure everyone's doing good. But it doesn't mean that I don't love you, or like I've forgotten about you, or that we have drifted apart. Not at all. It's like it's a low maintenance kind of friendship. So basically what I'm saying is I'm one of those people, like, we don't have to talk all the time, but when we talk, you know that you will feel like nothing has changed, and we're still friends and we're still cool. And the last question is, where do you see yourself in 10 years? So I'm turning 25 soon. In 10 years, I would be 35.
2 plus 2 is 4. Minus 1, that's 3. Quick math.
I hope I'll have a nice family, 2 dogs, 5 dogs. I want to be doing well in my career. I think my career is something that's very important to me, and it's something that fuels me, it's something that energizes me. So I want to be doing something that I love, have a happy family, and maintain my friendships with the people that I love. I think that's about it. So that is all for today's video. Thank you guys so much, especially to those of you who asked me some of your questions. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you do have any questions for me, let me know in the comment section down below. So thank you so much for supporting me till this day, and I hope that I manage to hit the 4,000 watch hours soon and start taking YouTube even more seriously. See you in my next video. Ciao!